Hi everyone, and welcome to our new unit. We are going to start learning about the basics of statistics, and that's going to start with our measures of central tendency, which are mean, median, and mode and range. Okay, so measures of central tendencies are values or a value that describes the center or middle of a data set. And data being a set of numbers. Okay? All right. And then our mean is also going to be known as an average, but it's the average of the values. And you find that by mean equals the sum of all the values over the number of values. Our median is the middle value. But your numbers, your data set, must be in order. So, order from small to large. And mode is the most occurring value. It's the one that you see a lot. Alright, and then range is the range of values. I'm having a difficult time explaining that other than a range. But you would find this from your largest number minus your smallest. Alrighty, so now let's take a look at our example. So we need to find the mean, median, mode, and range of each data set, and we need to round to the nearest tenth when necessary. So the first thing that we need to do when we have all of this data is that we need to put it in order from smallest to largest. Alright, so our smallest number is 82, and I always find it's easiest to cross it out once you're done. And then 86. And there's another 86, 87, and then there are two 88s right here, and there's another one. Yes, and I'm getting slanty. Okay, so there's three 88s. I see two 89s. Let's see if there's another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3 90s. Whoops. Oh no, I've run out of, I wrote too big. Sorry guys. Alright, there's a 91 and a 92. Okay. So, the first thing it says to find is the mean. So we need to add all of these numbers up and then we're going to divide. Okay, so let's add up all of our numbers, and I would highly recommend the use of a calculator. Alright, so it's 82 plus 86, 87 plus 88, 88, 88, 89, plus 89 because there were two of those, plus 90, plus 90, plus 90, plus 91, plus 92. Whew, goodness. Okay, and that gave us 1,236. So for mean, I'm going to use that color. I have 1,236, and I need to divide it by our total number of values, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 values, and so that is what I need to divide by, okay? So let's do that. So I have 1236 divided by 14, and that's going to give us 88 point roughly 3, because it said to round to the nearest tenth. Alright, to find our median, that is where we are going to take a look at our values. And we are basically going to put our finger on the first one and the last one. And then we are going to continue to move inward. So 86, 91, 86, 90, 87, 90, 88, 90, 88, 90. And then I have two values. Okay? So when you get two values for your median, which we said were 88 and 90, we need to add them and divide by 2. And this will happen whenever you have an even set of numbers, and so that's okay. When you have an odd set of numbers, you won't have to do this. So we're just going to do 88, plus 89, and divided by 2, and that's going to give us 88.5. Mode is the most occurring. So let's take a look. So I have 1, 2, 3 88s, and then I also have 1, 2, 3 90s. So our mode, if you notice, it also has an S, meaning it's possible to have more than one. So our mode is going to be 88, and it's also going to be 90, because those are the two most occurring numbers. Alright, and then finally our range, let me see, different color, is going to be 92 minus 82, which is going to give us 10. And we just completed our first set of measures of central tendency. Very good, guys. Alright, let's try another one. Okay, so the number of points scored by a football team during their 16-game season. And there are a lot of numbers there, so this one I'm going to try to write a little bit smaller. Alright, so for our first small number we have 7. And then we have 10. And then looks like 2 16s. And then 20. Looks like 24 is the next one. And then I have 3 25s. And then 28. This is honestly the longest part of this entire process. And then 30. And then I have a 31. Another 31. 2 33s. And a 45. Whew, cool. Alright, so now for mean, we are going to add them all up. So I'm going to have 7 plus 10 plus 16 plus 16 plus 20 plus 24 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. Got 3 of them, plus 28 plus 30 plus, 31 plus 31 plus 33 plus 33 plus 45. And that is going to give us 399. So we're going to have 399, all divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 399 divided by 16. Whoops, keep doing that. Which is going to give us 24.9. Because it said round to the nearest tenth, that's why this does not round up to 25. All right, and then for median, we need to do our finger test. So cover up the 7 and the 45 and just start moving inward. Oops. And we get 25 and 25. And that's going to give us 25. So median is 25. Our mode, let's see, I have 2 16s, I have 3 25s, I have 2 31s, and 2 33s. So our mode is going to be the 25. Because that's the one that occurs the most, because we have 3 of them. And then our range is going to be our largest number, which is 45, minus our smallest number, which is 7. And if you're not sure, 45 minus 7 gives us 38. Cool. Alrighty. Next one. Jenna's math quiz grades in the second quarter are as follows. Well, if she's in algebra, that's not bad. Alright, so we're going to put them in order from smallest to greatest. So her lowest quiz grade was a 72. Not bad. And then 78. Looks like 80. 82. 84. 87. 90. 95. And 98. Alrighty. So then for our mean, we're going to add up all of those numbers. So we get 72 plus 78 plus 80 plus 82 plus 84 plus 87 plus 90 plus 95 plus 98. And that gives us 766. And we're going to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which will give us 85.1. Alright, and then for our median, we are going to do the finger test. So put a finger on your first and last, and then move in. And this time, because we had an odd number of numbers, our median is just going to be the single number of 84, which is kind of nice, because it's a little bit less math. Alright, and then for our mode, let's see, we don't have one, and that's possible. You are allowed to have none. And then, oops, this was my range color, that's okay. And then for your range, it's going to be 98 minus 72. Which will give you 26. Alright, last one on this page before we move to the back. There we go. I'll keep 3 up there. Alright, the amount of money in Dave's checking account for the first week of June. Alrighty. So then we are going to put them in order from smallest to largest. 244. And then 378. And then 520. 575. 618. 702. And 794. Alright. So now for our mean, we are going to add up all of these numbers. And that's going to give us 3,831. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So when we divide that by 7, 3831 divided by 7, it will give us 547.3. Alrighty. And then for our median, put a number on the first and the last, and just start to move in. And we get 575. Our mode is the one that occurs the most, and since none of these repeat, we're going to have none. And then our range is going to be the largest minus the smallest. And that's going to equal 794 minus 244 will give us 550. Alrighty, so we've just done the entire first page. Now, as always, let's turn to the back. Okie dokie. So, Trevon has 4 grades in science class so far, 97, 78, 89, and 94. If he has a test coming up, what grade would he need so his overall average is at least 90? Alright? So, at least 90, meaning he wants it to be greater than 90, but 90 is okay as well. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to add all of these up first. Okay, and let me show you. So we're going to have 97 plus 78 plus 89 plus 94. And if he has a test coming up, but we don't know what that grade is going to be, what do we do whenever we have an unknown? That's right, we're going to add x, right? And since he wants the overall average, we're going to need to divide by our number of tests, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Doing all right so far? Just adding up all of his tests with one unknown test because we don't know what he's going to get. Finding the average, we have 5 tests. And then, if he wants it to be at least 90, we want it to be greater than 90, but we're okay with it equaling 90. Alright? And that's what this inequality means. Greater than 90, but it could also equal it. So, the easiest thing to start off with, I think, is to go ahead and add up all of these numbers that you can. Okay? So we would do 97 plus 78 plus 89 plus 94. Okay? And you would get 358. So over here, I'm going to write 358. And please remember, we have not added the x because we don't know what it is. So we're going to have plus x divided by 5 greater than or equal to 90. Alright, I want to get the 5 out from the bottom. So what I'm going to do is multiply both sides by 5, because that's going to cancel that out. Okay? And I'm going to get 358 plus x is greater than or equal to 90 times 5 is going to give us 450. And then our last step, we just need to subtract the 358 from the 450. So I'll use a different color to show that. Obviously that cancels out, and we're going to be left with x is greater than or equal to, and then we have calculators, 450 minus 358, which will give us 92. So if Trevon wants to have an average of 90%, then he needs to make a 92 on his next test. A 92 or greater, really. Alright? Okay. So the next, Melanie ran the 400-meter dash 6 times during track practice. Her times are shown in our table right here. If she drops her lowest time, which measure of center is affected the most, mean or median? And then we need to explain. Alright? So, if she drops her slowest time. So then, tell you what, let's go ahead and calculate the mean and the median of her times right now. Okay? So, if we do the mean, we just need to add all of them up. So 63.5, 67.9, 64.3, plus 63.6, 65.4, 64.7. And then divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to have 389.4 divided by 6. And that's going to equal 64.9. Right? Now, if we want to find the median, what we need to do is put her times in order from least to greatest. So we have 63.5, and then 63.6, 64.3, 64.7, 65.4, and 67.9. And then we'll just figure out which one is in the middle. So we have 2 in the middle. So that's going to be 64.3 plus 64.7 divided by 2. 64.3 plus 64.7 divided by 2 will give us 64.5. Alright, so now let's do it. Boop, 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 boop. Making a divider. So this question was asking what would happen if she dropped her slowest time. So her slowest time was the 63.5. So if we got rid of this time, just got rid of it, then let's calculate the mean and the median, okay? So our mean is now going to be, we're just going to start from her time 2 and add all of those. So 67.9 plus 64.3 plus 63.6 plus 65.4 plus 64.7. Okay, and now we get 325.9. And we're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And that's going to give us 65.2. Okay. And then let's find our median. So we've already put our numbers in order up here, so I'm just going to take out the very first one since that was our slowest one. Alright, and then we are going to find our median, which is going to be 64.7. Alright, now if you compare our numbers, our mean originally was 64.9. Our new mean is 65.2. Our median was 64.5. Our new median is 64.7. So which one was more affected? Your mean or your median? Your mean was. Okay. But why? Why was the mean most affected? Well, your mean was most affected because that actual time was used in your calculation because we had to add up all of our numbers, right? And so that number was actually used. With your median, that number is not really used. It's more of a placeholder. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this number, her lowest could have been 50, and her mean still would have been 64.5. So the number didn't actually matter, it was more the number of times. So her mean is most affected since her slowest time is used in the calculation. Alright, whoops, sorry. There you go. Alrighty, so now we are going to add another factor to our measures of central tendencies. We need to talk about outliers. Alright, outliers is a data value that is much smaller or much larger than the others. Okay? Alrighty. So, we are actually going to talk about outliers a lot more tomorrow because we're going to have a very specific way to calculate them. Okay? Right now we don't have that specific way, but again, we'll talk about that next video. Okay. But to choose our best center, alright, circumstances within the data set determine which measure of central tendency would be the most appropriate. So your mean, so this is saying when you should use the mean to represent your data, okay? You should use your mean to represent your data when there are no outliers. So basically, if there's an outlier, then you really don't want to use your mean in order to state your data, okay? Because the whole purpose of mean, median, and mode is to give a representation of your data without listing all those numbers. But mean is not the best one when you have an outlier, okay? Your median is most useful when there are outliers. Uh-oh. sorry guys. So just to make sure, because my computer kind of died for a second, your median is most useful when there are outliers. And this is kind of like that problem before with the track times. That's because regardless of what the time is, your median will still be the same, or at least within it. Okay. Your median is also your median is also useful when the middle of your data contains no big gaps. So that's like saying that your middle of your data, a big gap would be like going from 100 to 200 when all of your other data points were like 101, 105. Okay? All right. And then your mode is most useful when the data has many repeated values. Cool. All right, so next, we are going to use our knowledge of which ones are most useful to determine which center best represents our data, and we need to justify our solution. All right, so the number of wins by a hockey team in the last 8 years. 56, 45, 26, 48, 54, 52, 49, and 38. Okay, so does it look like you have an outlier? I think you have an outlier. I think 26 might be an outlier. And which one is most useful when you have an outlier? Your median. Okay. All right, but let's make sure. Let's make sure that this median is actually. So I am listing my numbers in order from largest to smallest. Because it did say justify. So, going to find my median. So 48 plus 49 divided by 2 will give me 48.5. And that's about right. Okay? Alrighty. So now, the number of minutes that Ariana spent exercising each day for the past week. So we have 35, 38, 32, 40, 45, 42, 36. Well, that all seems relatively normal. So I'm going to say it's the mean. And then I'm going to add up all of these numbers and divide by the number of numbers. So when we add up all of these numbers, I'm just going to do it off camera. Okay. So if we add up all these numbers, we're going to get 268. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7. That's going to give us 38.3. That looks good. Another way that you can tell, like for example, that it's not mode, is that for number 7, we didn't have any repeaters. For number 8, we didn't have any repeaters. And for 7, we had an outlier, therefore it wasn't the mean. And for 8, it doesn't look like we have an outlier, therefore it can't be median. Alright. And so then for number 9, holy cow, that's a lot of values. Okay. So we have 80, 50, 70, 80, 80, 90, 100, 80, 100, 60, 80, 50, 80, 80, 80, 70, 90, 90, 80, 100. Wow. Okay, so I saw a lot of repeated values in there. Did you? Alright, so I found this 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, that's a lot of 80s. So I'm just going to say mode because there was a lot of repetition. 80. So your mode equals 80. Alrighty, and now we're done. That was a long video, but this had a lot of information on it. So your next page is homework. Good luck, guys.